up, what 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 up? What up, guys? How's everybody doing? Welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, JR, and pardon me. Today we're gonna speak on a few things. We definitely want to get into this 21 Savage interview that he did that's got the streets buzzing and talking about things that we need to be talking about and should have talked about a long time ago. Before I get into that, I want to shout out to myself for that intro track. Uh, that's called The Real. And, it's just some stuff that I spit. I was thinking about what's going on today. But anyway, let's jump right into this 21 Savage interview where he was speaking about, um, you know, he was speaking about
Where from?
the streets being dead with this bank interview, and I'm totally in agreement with what the young man said. I also believe that he's got enough street cred, and from what I've come to realize and I've come to see just by what other people have said about 21 Savage, that he's a solid dude. I've never met him, nor do I know him, but everybody else says that the man is solid. And so, if that's what your reputation gives, then that's what we must go by, right? And also, from what I hear, he has, you know, he can say what he said, but I'm in agreement with it because, you know, as you can see, I'm a seasoned vet in the game of life, by all this wisdom that I have on my face and in my hair. And I thank my almighty creator for allowing me to be here as long as I've been. Because back in the day, I was a street nigga too. And the thing is, you know, uh, I didn't have to be a street nigga. I chose to be a street nigga. Think certain things happen in your life, and you just choose to go down a certain path because, whatever situation that you may be going through that took you down to that path. But, you know, I grew up, as a young kid in a small town in Indiana, right across the bridge from Louisville, Kentucky. So I know about the streets, right? There's certain things that I've learned just by personal experience that I figured out. I mean, it was late in life and it put me back, but I realized shit while I was in the streets, which is why I moved the way that I moved. And one thing about the streets is you can trust no one. Another thing about the streets is there's definitely, and I've seen this with my own eyes, two ends to being a street nigga. And everybody has heard the cliche of jail or death, and that's real. This code that has become so prominent in our culture, I believe really is some bullshit that's been propagandized and instilled in our children from a young age that really doesn't make any sense because, I mean, now that I'm older, I don't want knuckleheads in my neighborhood doing dumb shit, breaking in cars, running in a pack or a gang, trying to intimidate people, um, just doing menacing things, trafficking drugs, bringing down the property of my neighborhood. I don't want that. So, in this instant, I'm like Charleston White. I'm gonna tell because I don't want that going on around my home, around my grandchildren. I want where I live to be a safe place. And the other night, I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning, and my front door had been unlocked all night. No one came in. No one tried to. No one tried to turn the doorknob, see what was going on, or anything like that. You know, I just simply woke up the next morning and realized that the door was unlocked. All this snitching shit, first of all, where I come from, there's a difference between snitching and telling, right? If I'm in my home or standing outside my garage or just happen to see someone going into my neighbor's house that isn't my neighbor, I'm telling. That's not snitching. I'm not going into that house with that person committing, breaking, and entering. I'm not doing that. I'm not with them. So I'm not snitching. I'm telling because I would want my neighbor to do the same thing for me if they saw someone coming into my home if I wasn't there. I believe that all these rappers, the so-called street niggas that's rapping about street shit, are studio gangsters. And they should be ashamed of themselves because they are influencing the younger generation to do things that they wouldn't do themselves. And I definitely don't think that it's a badge of honor to go into prison or jail to get any type of credibility. I tell my grandboys, it's cool to be a nerd. The nerds have the hot chicks because they got the money. They got the freedom. They don't have a stigma of gonna do something bad. I'm moved by myself. If I was gonna do something, I'm gonna do it by myself because I've learned that the so-called realest niggas is gonna snitch. That's right. The so-called realest niggas is gonna snitch. They gonna tell. And I don't have a sponsorship yet, but I drink it every day. It does give me wings. Red Bull. This is the winter flavor, and it's got some ginger in it. It's called Fuji Apple and Ginger. Kind of tastes like a ginger ale, but it's fire. But yeah, I'm going to tell. I'm calling the police. Now that I'm up here in life, I don't have time to be tussling with nobody. I'm calling the police. And if I can't get to my phone before I can call the police, if you put your hands on me, well, it's going to get hot real quick for you. So I don't think people should give Savage a hard time because, like he said, man, the internet shouldn't have any bearing on what's going on in the streets. And these young, emotional black men that's raised by their mothers to be emotional, they let people trick them into doing some silly shit. And then the even more silly shit is they'll go out and do something and then they'll go to the studio and rap about it. See, when I grew up, hip hop was about some intellectual shit, some high vibration stuff. And then once the once the owners, once they seen how much influence our culture had on society, it was a different type of warfare that was taking place right before our eyes. And we kept on selling it out. It seems to me that everything gets gobbled up by the big dogs. If you come up with something that takes off, becomes very popular, and is demanded by the masses, hey, them sharks is coming to get that. They coming to get that. And you gonna give it up one way or the other. Hey, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. But either way, it's gonna get done. And we need that. Thank you very much. But to close out this street topic, yeah, man, I don't believe that the internet should have any bearing on what's going on in the streets. I don't believe there's very many real street niggas left. Because once you get acclimated to a certain lifestyle, you shouldn't want that taken away from you to go to live like an animal. Pardon me. I've been there and I've done that, and I don't want to go back. And that's why I made the simple decision that life is really simple. You just make the decisions that you need to make. That's not going to land you behind bars. It's real simple. It's either right or wrong. All right, moving on to the next topic. Let's talk about the 20th, 250th. I don't know what is it, I guess birthday celebration bullshit. I don't know, some type of whitewashing bullshit that's going on. That your boy is talking about holding what he says is the Patriot games. But to me, it sounds a lot like, or it seems a lot like, from the surface, the Hunger Games. But it was announced right here, December the 18th. Trump announces a youth athletic fair use. Trump announces Patriot Games, a youth athletic competition celebrating United States' 250th birthday. So I got a lot of things I got a lot of things that are wrong with that 250th celebration bullshit. Because, first of all, the United States is way older than 250 years old. That's number one. And number two, anybody that would sign up for that, there's something wrong with you. I mean, if you've watched the Patriot games, just going off of that, the possibility of that being what's going on would would keep me from doing that. And I'm trying to sign into this chat box, but for some reason it's not allowing me to. But what do you think? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch the Hunger Games again. I think you can buy it on Prime Video. It's funny that everything else is on some type of streaming platform somewhere where you don't have to pay for it, but the Hunger Games, you gotta pay for it. See if I can use my pass key. Uh, it ain't working for some reason. But anyway, close that out. So yeah, the Hunger Games. What do y'all think about that? I think it's wild. I think it's kind of disrespectful for them to put that in our face like that. But hey, you know, um, that's what they do. That's what they do. I know one thing. I wouldn't want anyone in my family or any of my friends participating in the sorry, the Patriot games. And I'm just curious as to what type of events will be involved. What type of events will be in the Patriot games? The upcoming Patriot games for America's 250th anniversary 2026 will feature high school athletes in the national showcase, but specific events aren't fully detailed, focusing on American skill, sportsmanship, and discipline, likely including traditional sports like football, baseball, basketball, softball, and volleyball, showcasing young talent from each state and territory. So, my thing is, from what he said, it's going to be one young man and one young woman from each state. I don't understand how football, baseball, softball could be any of these. I could see 2-on-2 basketball and I could see 2-on-2 volleyball. But other than that, the contestants will have to team up with other states. But if the goal is the boy and the girl from the individual state to win the competition, there's no way you can include football, baseball, or softball. So miss me with that bullshit. Here we go. Here's the real shit. There are other Patriot game competitions with distinct events such as military style challenges. Yeah, here we go. Relay obstacle courses, pull ups for the Army Navy game, or shooting fitness for civilian ranges. Yeah, yeah. That's more like it. That's what's going to have to happen. It's going to be more military style events, obstacle courses, shooting, surviving, you know. I can see tug of war, pistol, rifle, craft, fitness, concealed, see, survival skills, mental fortitude, surviving in the elements, you know. My thing is, people are going to watch this because they're going to want to see if it's really like the Patriot game or the other one. And I need to be careful because I don't want to get any strikes. Like I said, I'm new to this. But I believe this is how the real Hunger Games start. I just want, and the Hunger Games came out years ago, right? When did the Hunger Games come out? And I truly believe that films are predictive programming, whether it be for in the future or whether that be in the present or some rerun shit that they put out because it worked in the past. But movies release date USA 2014 March 23rd 2012 is when the movie was released, a day before my birthday. Shout out to Kim Wynn on her birthday is when it came out. Let's look at this trailer. Let's look at this trailer.
We could do it, you know. Take off, live in the woods.
They'd catch us.
Well, maybe not.
We wouldn't make it 5 miles.
Welcome, welcome. The time has come to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
It's your first year, Prim. Your name's only been in there once. They're not gonna pick you.
Hey, they said the 74th Annual Hunger Games. So, what we need to pay attention to is the fact that, see, they don't tell us what the very first annual Patriot Games were, Hunger Games were. They just tell us about the 74th. It picks up at the 74th. 74 is a very important number to a certain group of people also. But I ain't even going to get into that. But the 74th Hunger Games, I'm just interested in what the very first of these type of games was called. And the thing is, this is what things look like 74 years, 73 years after the very first one started, right? And back in 2012, I had a lot going on. I definitely wasn't in the place I was today. And so my time was different. And I definitely didn't see what I just saw in that first clip, the first part of this trailer where they were talking about, pardon me, they were talking about how we can just run away. And then she said we wouldn't get 5 miles, which tells me that I didn't pick up on this back then. They're in some type of surveillance state where they're constantly watched. So that's another thing that I didn't pick up 13 years ago, almost 14 years ago. Anyway.
Primrose Everdeen.
Prim! I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute!
Our tributes, Peter Malark and Katniss Everdeen.
They just want a good show. That's all they want.
There's 24 of us, Gail. Only one comes out. So you're here to make me look pretty?
I'm here to help you make an impression.
And so it was decreed that each year, the 12 districts of Pan Am shall offer up in tribute one young man and woman between the ages of 12 and 18 to be trained in the art of survival and to be prepared to fight to the death.
This is the time to show them everything. Make sure they remember you.
I just keep wishing that I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me. If I'm gonna die, I want to still be me.
I just can't afford to think like that.
I ain't gonna hold you though. This shit got me excited to watch it again with different eyes. For real, for real. Fair use. Fair use. I'm new to this. So take it on me, big dogs. Big dogs, take it easy on me. It's almost done. Fair use. For entertainment purposes only.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, I'm in there. I'm in there. But look, so everything's got to be a slow walk. And what I mean by that is the very first Patriot games, it cannot be where these young men and women fight to their death. Can't be that way. Not starting off. Eventually, I mean, damn. You just think about, I think about 50 years ago and how things were. I think about the time going back to when I was in the streets and how rapidly things changed to where you had to move different because it was all about cops and robbers, Smokey and the Bandits, Tom and Jerry's, you know? And so you had to move a certain way in order to remain free from the penitentiary chances that you were taking at the time. And so when I think about this movie, it picks up at the 74th. It's the very first movie, and it picks up at the 74th Hunger Games. So it leads me, and this is just the type of person that I am, it leads me to wonder what the fuck went on in the previous 73 years and how did these games change over time? Because with time, you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and never making anything better and never making any changes because people will get bored with that. It always has to get more intriguing, more suspenseful, things just have to continue to move forward in the games. So it just leads me to wonder, how did the games first start off? How did they change in year 1 and 5? How did they change in year 5 through 10, 10 through 15, etc., until we get to the point to where the games are to where they're fighting to the death and only one comes out. And they're so canny to where they get you caught up into the movie that you're not paying attention to the scenes in the background, the state of civilization in the background. Because I believe that eventually that's how it's going to be. Something to make you go, huh? Yeah, no. Anyway, moving on. I've been speaking on this in so many ways through this whole podcast. And when I was in the streets, I remember I would page my nigga and be like, "What's up, my nigga? Shit, man, just now getting up, man. About to head down to the trap, see if I can get some money." Not even realizing at the time that I was really in reality walking into a trap. And what do I mean by the trap? I mean the hood, or my dope house, where I would post up, hang out, chill, smoke and drink, and get money. In the hood, cars rolling up, not knowing if you were walking up to one that has a hidden camera somewhere, or they got a tape going somewhere getting you on tape so they can indict you. You know, the trap, the hood where all the bullshit happens. Niggas be in the back gambling, music playing, smoking weed, drinking, getting inebriated to the point to where if the police was to crash the motherfucking hood and jump out on you, you too intoxicated to do anything with a pocket full of dope and money. Like the trap. It's a trap. And once I realized that, and I saw my niggas going to jail from indictments, I saw niggas running in on them and taking their life to get what they wanted. out by being brainwashed that man, this is the only way this is the only way I can survive. No, nigga. You can go get you a trade, 2 trades, 3 trades, and can't nobody tell you shit. And you can hustle that way, the legal way. So if you wanted to. But it's too much like work. It was too easy to go to the trap and chill in the trap, fucking with the trap like a mouse really trying to get cheese. Not knowing if that motherfucker gonna go off and get you or not. And when it go off and get you, that's them boys coming and running up on your ass. Not only are you publicly intoxicated, you also been trafficking in controlled substance. And you got all the evidence on you. It's a trap. There is other things that you can do. I'm sorry. There are other things that you can do. So, the other day, I learned that the reason why we get old is because, or I heard, makes sense to me, but here we go. The reason why we get old is because celebrating our birthday every year is really casting a spell on us to make us old. Because in reality, you're only supposed to celebrate your birthday on your actual birthday. For instance, if you were born on a Monday, on the 15th of the month, you're only supposed to celebrate your birthday only when it falls on a Monday on that date of the month in that particular year. And if you do that, you know, you might only celebrate your birthday once every 5, 4, 6, 7 years. Pardon me. If I did that, I'll be 8. I don't even know how I got off on that tangent. But anyway, I've learned in my life that things are not the way that they may appear to be. And a lot of times we allow ourselves to be manipulated into thinking a certain way. Because it's crazy, the whole time I was out there, I had that same silly ass mentality. Pardon me. I had that same silly ass mentality that I had to do this. But I didn't have to do that. I chose to do that because I like how fast the money came. and I could trade my like I leverage my time for the money. If I could make $250 in, you know, 15 minutes, why would I go to work and have to work 2 or 3 days to make $250? It didn't make sense to me. But instead of taking those penitentiary chances, the smart thing to do is to hell with going to college, get into an apprenticeship, learn how to weld, learn how to do carpentry, and then learn how to be an electrician, right? Or you can learn how to be an electrician, learn how to be a carpenter, and learn how to be a plumber. And can't nobody tell you nothing. Because not only can you build the house, you can wire it up for electricity and you can do the plumbing. So, you know, you could take old houses and renovate them yourself and make money and flip them and hustle that way to eventually, you have properties and you don't even have to do that anymore. Now you got contractors to do that. And people will train you to do carpentry. Start out as a general laborer. It's called working your way up. It's no different than going to school, to college, traditional college for 4 years and going into all of this debt. And then you still have to work your way up. You're not just going to come out of college and be a CEO of a company. That ain't going to happen. You don't know the right people. And in this country, it's not about what the hell you know. It's about who you know, what you know, and what they know. And what are you willing to do to get this? So young fellas, stay out the trap. There are other things that you can do. You don't have to murder, kill. You can build. Stop being so emotional. Use some logic like a man. Slow down. In this day and age of social media and things spreading and egos being bruised, it's real easy for things to go from 0 to 100. Real easy for things to go from 0 to 100. And then a lot of times you look up and 2 lives are essentially gone because one's going away and the other one might not be with us anymore. And then there's 2 families that the ripple effect of what happened, it just goes on and on and on. And it doesn't have to be thing is, no one on this planet has been undefeated. I'm sure even Floyd Mayweather, as a young kid, got beat up at some point before he knew how to box and all of that good shit. Because in order to become a winner, you gotta lose. If you don't ever lose, you'll never figure out how to win. And it's okay to lose. You don't give up. You get better. You be better. And if you know better, you can do better. That's the reason why the trap is called the trap, is because it is indeed a trap. You know the police are looking there for people that's doing what you're doing. And it's their job to take people like you off the streets. It's a dirty game. And we should be ashamed to propagandize and prop that shit up like it's a good thing to do. We as an older generation, and I'm speaking to the artists, because a lot of you niggas ain't as young as you look and say you are, and you know better, and you know what the hell you doing, and you know that it's wrong to tell these kids and put in this music for these kids to become addicts. You know, life isn't about abundance. That's greed, and that's a sin. And I have that foundation in me, but I just believe in right and wrong. I don't believe, in all this religion bullshit. Uh, I've read the book that they call the Bible, and nowhere in there do I remember the so-called Savior having a religion. It states what his origin was and what he was. But to me, my perception from my critical thinking was he was just a spiritual man and believed in right and wrong. And it was really that simple. And lately, what's been buzzing is these artists, singers, rappers, actors, actresses, influencers are having to sign contracts, streamers are being offered deals where they get this crazy amount of bread, but they can no longer say Jesus Christ. A new dawn is coming. And and this is another reason why I don't believe in religion, because I believe a new religion is coming where they're going to start to worship their God. And we're going to have to do the same. And they're going to be, it's going to start with an L. And that's who they worship now. The light bearer. And that's why I believe that it's starting to be a buzz around influencers and rappers and actors and actresses and singers alike, where they're being offered contracts to where they cannot say those words. And once again, it's a slow burn. They can't just put it right out in our faces that way. That's not how it works. And then before you know it, we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked because we're dazed and confused. So, hey, listen. I've been on here for a minute. Before I'm out of here, make sure, if you like my content, whether you like it or not, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It helps the algorithms. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. And show acts of kindness. Do something today that's going to put a smile on someone's face, because you never know what the next person may or may not be going through. But as humanity, if we show out acts of kindness to one another, the world will indeed be a better place. I love each and every single one of you guys. And whether you stopped in for a second, 5, 10 seconds, or you watched this all the way through, I appreciate your time, because that's something that we can't get back. Be safe. It's your boy JR. Aha.